Welcome to the Joys of the Journey. Lee Kiefer, two-time Olympic champion, world champion, many champions. I was trying to put all your results, but I think it's going to be 30 minutes. And you became world number one in 2017, the first American to become world number one in foil. And now you're world number one. I mean, it's just such an honor for you to be here on my podcast. And we're going to just dive into it. So my first question will be, did you ever felt as a young athlete or as a young child that you'll be really, really good at fencing?
Ooh. Okay. Did I feel like I was gonna be really good? When I was younger, I never thought about it in those terms. I would say, looking back from an adult lens now, I was a competitor. I did not like to lose, and I was always good at putting in effort. And I think, as someone who now works with kids and has seen a lot, I think that is a great start and indicator in personality that's easier to work with. But it was more of a still trying to learn the fundamentals, figure out what was going on in fencing.
Yeah. And you joined the journey.
Exactly.
And you never felt pressure in any shape or form, like, whatever I do, I have to be the best. It was internal. Like, I want to be the greatest I can be with what I do.
I think that question's complicated because I myself am a competitor, but I was also surrounded by coaches and parents who pushed me, demanded hard work, um, demanded that effort, which translated to excellence. So I think there was a combination of factors because as a 7-year-old, when I started, you can barely hold your foil or whatever weapon you're fencing or carry your fencing bag. So you have to have some guidance initially. I think it's just a matter of time and direction of which parts are the most important, which parts keep you in the game.
No, thank you. The other question I have is, you won two Olympic championship titles. I wonder, how was your mindset prior to the first one and how it changed prior to the second one? Was it more pressure after? I'm just curious about your mindset overall.
Yeah, great question. So 2021 was a very fascinating and unique situation because of the pandemic. The Olympics were postponed a whole year. For a while, we didn't even know if they were happening. So going from qualifying and wanting to medal to being like, are these dreams and opportunity gone? And when they announced that they were back on, we were all really excited. We were still very restricted in how we could train, being with groups of people, being, very scared to get sick or get other people sick. And the biggest thing I remember before Tokyo was we were able to do bubble foil fencing camps at the Olympic Paralympic Training Center. And we had so much fun. We were so grateful to be there. We finally could have high level training, start to get back that excitement surrounding the Olympics. And for me, I love that journey. So it was basically a 6-month push for Tokyo, and I was in such a great headspace. I was just happy to be there. I felt strong. I felt confident. But I would say my gratitude and joy surrounding it really helped me get there for Tokyo.
Mhm.
Now for Paris, now it's different. We're back in the normal routine of everything. Sometimes in my own head, sometimes externally, people being like, so you are ranked high, you won the last Olympics, you're supposed to win this Olympics. And every time that was brought up, I was like, back up, back up. Like, I'm not doing this for you. I'm not doing this for anyone except for the fact that I want to be here. I want to get better at fencing. I love fencing. Um, so I tried to remind myself, like, it doesn't matter. If I go out there and I lose my first bout, who the F cares?
Exactly. Yeah,
um,
exactly.
but I had to keep giving myself reminders because there's so much discussion around what's next. How are you going to handle that? And that's how I was handling that. A little like back away.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
this is me. This is for me.
Yeah. I feel like it's really unfortunate that many people cannot disconnect with the society and people's expectations because at the end of the day, it's about you and what makes you happy. And if you feel like I'm not gonna fence at that tournament, and then you're not fencing because you don't feel okay, regardless what everybody else is gonna say, when I see athletes and I'm always want to ask the question, hey, are you going for the next Olympics? But then I'm thinking always in back in my mind, I don't want to put that question in their head, like because it's a huge deal for some people and you want to be there to support them. But what do you say? You don't say because I've never achieved even close to your level of fencing, but I do remember when I was still in Bulgaria and I was competing and you win a tournament and there's like, oh, so you're going to win the next one and there and you start kind of rattling in this and you're losing the whole joy of I'm doing it for myself, not for anybody else. But I feel like you're doing such a great job disconnecting the people's thoughts, expectations, beliefs, or whatever that is, because at the end of the day it's your life and nobody see you behind the scenes sometimes when you cry and you don't feel okay and you're down and they don't call you to say, hey, how's it going? But when they see you, it's like, are you going to win the next Olympic title? And I feel like you finding the joy in what you do regardless of the expectations of what's going to happen, it is what it is. You just taking one day at a time and you love what you do. And I think when you're happy with what you do, the results are coming one way or another.
Yeah,
um
I'm
I
glad
do
you
I'm
brought
sorry,
that up,
go ahead, go ahead.
like, how you felt some of these feelings. Um, First off, like, curiosity is amazing, like, if people, like, care and are asking us questions, but it's such an intimate thing, for someone to ask a question and for us to think about, like, our whole life's decisions. Sometimes it means a lot more than what they think, so I'm happy you relate on that
Oh yeah,
note.
I and I will tell you something very interesting. So when after the Olympics and you won the medal, the second one, and I remember we were chatting with Chris. I was like, I think they're gonna go for the next one. I'm not gonna ask them, but I think they will. And then he's like, but they have medical school. I'm like, I don't know. I have that gut feeling. And when you announce, I'm like, I was right. I was right. But I was never going to ask you that question because, as you say, it's very intimate. It's very like it's a big decision. It's a big deal whether you do because you did something many people will not do. Leave that. I mean, I'm sure that you guys could have been. You still can be insane doctors and surgeons. There's no question about it. But also sometimes life change and your path changes in a way and I love that you're showing others it's okay, yeah, to start that journey and maybe you go a different route. And I think I don't know if you guys understand you and get it what kind of huge role models you're for not only for athletes, for kids, but also for adults. Because many have made the decisions because of their parents in the society, not because what they believe is right for them. I remember, I don't know if it was interview or something, I heard you, and it's very important for the young athletes to hear that you had this breakdown when you were in college, when you were training really, really hard and you had to step away. And I want you to share very quickly, like, how did that affect you? Like, what happened and how did your coach, the college coach, guided you to step away a little bit and come back with fresher mind?
Mm. Um, I want the record to show that I have struggled at every transition point in my life. So, not one isolated event where I've learned, and ever since then, like I've been chilling. Like so many times, there have been so many obstacles. I know that's the same for everyone. So I just want to let you know, like one of the biggest challenges that I experienced was after the Rio Olympics. So this is 2016. I took a gap year from college to train for the Olympics, put all my eggs and all my effort into that one basket, partially because, as you know, in the American system, it's most common to fence in college and then you're done. So I was under the expectation and impression like this is my last push and then we're done. And so that is a very big thing to think
And it's
as
scary,
how old was I? 21?
probably.
So very young, a baby. I'm now 31. That's 10 years. I'm still fencing. So I had all these hopes and dreams. I was fencing stronger on the senior level. I had even medaled a few times. So I was like, this is my chance to finally get an Olympic medal. And then I'm going to go to med school and move on. This was the plan at the time. And guess what? I didn't medal. And I was devastated. I for so many reasons. I was like, well, I messed up. That was my chance. It's over. Like, my career doesn't have meaning anymore. And all of these thoughts led me into a very, very low point. And I took this into, I think it was my senior year of college. So I flew, I think I might have come straight from the Olympics or like not have been at home after and gone straight to school. My brother picked me up from the airport and I was absolutely in a funk for I want to say the first semester. I did not want to fence. I was not enjoying it, but I had obligations. I agreed to fence at Notre Dame. I was a
Absolutely.
captain and always hold my promise. I will always be accountable. But my heart was not there. I can't you can't promise that when you're not in a good place. So I was going through the motions, trying to figure out like do med school interviews and plan for what's next. And slowly I started enjoying fencing again because of my teammates, because the people around me and in coming out of such, I don't know, a letdown combination is because I was young, that's all I knew at the time, to finding the most joy I've ever had in my life, which then I think led to me starting to fence better and just, like, strip back some of those pressures, and I soared. I freaking soared that year, and it took a lot of time and it took a lot of help. And those are the things that I want to impart on other people who are going through crappy time. It's not gonna be easy and it's gonna
Yeah.
be very specific to your personality, your situation.
And how you handle the disappointment. And as I always say, like especially like when you guys are going to that level, the whole world is watching you,
Mhm.
and the pressure is tremendous. And I do know that like the saying of pressure is privilege. We do know that, but at the same time, it's like sometimes you feel unhuman amount of disappointment where you love the sport so much that at one point you feel like you hate the sport. You feel like it robs
Yeah.
me from my joy and I am doing this. But I feel like it's very interesting now when this happened, you literally, after that breaking point, maybe you were meant to lose that medal or whatever the goal was. So you can actually step back, check with yourself why I do it. And I do it not necessarily for the medal, I do it for the joy of the sport. And I think that's a lot of fencers, not fencers only, athletes, but they're trying to kind of see again back, am I doing the sport for the necessarily the victory, winning the medal, or because I love what I do? And nowadays we teach the kids the healthy relationship. Like the medal will not define you. You can be just an incredible, successful person behind that. And I feel that's why the mental health, and you guys with Gerek speak about the mental health a lot, and I do speak a lot because uh, people always say this is excuse, that is excuse. I'm coming from a country where you're either number one or you're nobody, and I've been in those dark places, and I think like you're worthless. And now I'm hoping I can help the next generation of seeing like when you are a surgeon or whatever job you have, even if you work at Target as a manager, nobody's gonna hire you and say, "Hey, did you win the national title at Y14?" No, but like all this experience shapes you for who you are and who you're meant to become, and you're gonna be resilient and you're gonna be just perfect. Yeah. Um, so now I wanna go a little bit to your husband Gerek. For somebody who doesn't know, you guys are married. He's a foil fencer, one of the top USA in the world foil fencers. Um, how does he coach you when your own coach is not there? Because it's a very fine line for you to bump heads, like if he's pushing you too much or too little. So I'm just curious about that relationship.
Yes. Um, so before coaching even, we are each other's main training partners. So we are duking it out at practice on a regular basis. And it's so fun sometimes, but sometimes we get frustrated, um, usually, like, at our own fencing, but we can get angsty with each other, including yesterday. I was getting mad, and I was I'm a competitor, and I care a lot, but we can really support each other in a high pressure situation, in a we're both human just trying to navigate life situation. So it's a really, really fun part of our relationship. From a coaching standpoint, our approach is usually before the bout is to check in with the person. What do you need today? What are you thinking with this specific person? If you are a fencer, this is my belief, even if you've been fencing a few years, like, you have a good read on yourself, like what actions you like to do. Are you feeling confident today? And we basically do this because we trust each other's decision making capacity. And once we get on the strip, it's less strategic, more reminders, and more helping bring energy. Because I think sometimes there's lack of focus, lapses in focus, or maybe we're feeling tired and nervous. Everyone does across the board. Having someone behind you being like, you can freaking do it, really helps with that edge. So it's truly simple and not not very enlightening.
It's not like you're making a mistake on the strip and Garrick is like, "What are you doing?" And then you turn and like, "What?"
Yeah. Or just like false counterattack, parry, repo. Like he's not like video controlling me either. Like both of those things. No.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's like the support. And I do
Yeah.
remember when Chris was trying to coach me in my last years of competing. And I remember he was yelling to give me the advice, but I was so pissed off at the whole thing. And I'm like, stop yelling at me during the bout. He's like, I'm coaching you. And it was just funny because yesterday when we were chatting with him, I was like, I want to ask Lee about Garrick and her coaching her. He's like, oh, yeah, that's an interesting subject for us.
But as okay, so also you felt it sounds like sometimes when you're frustrated, he's also a person because you feel so safe and you love them,
Oh,
like
yeah.
you take it out on them.
Yeah.
And that's really hard for me because I do that. And then I feel so much guilt.
And then I apologized later on. I was like, "I'm so
Exactly.
sorry." So I mean, I honestly, we're so blessed to have partners who share our love for the sport and doing what we do. But at the same time, sometimes it's very common for us to bicker heads. Like, I mean,
Yes.
are you guys competitive at everything you do, like board games and stuff like that?
A lot of things. Yes. You too?
Always, always. We were playing with the kids with the Super Mario and those like things where four of us are playing because we have. I mean, we're five because we have three kids, but like four of us are playing, and one is always throwing the remote. And it's gonna be me or Christian. It's so funny because then our kids are kind of like this, and I'm like, we created them and we're showing them. I mean, we hate losing, both of us. But also, we don't fence together because I feel like if I score a point, I kind of feel he kind of let me, and that pisses me off. And he's like, no, I didn't. And we just don't fence together, just to keep it
That's
safe.
fair. I think that's good. You guys have learned what works for you
Yeah.
and for us too. That's a little like pushing and pulling. That's like
Oh,
part
that's
of our
good.
like relationship
Yeah.
dynamic also.
Yeah. Um, So I saw before, again on social media, because we were talking with athletes how they need to eat whatever food during tournaments, before tournaments, and stuff like that. And one day I remember I was telling Chris, "Oh my gosh, do you know the amount of food Lee eats during the tournament?" I felt like one snack when I was an athlete. That's why the entire day, and I'm like, we're getting it wrong. So, what is your favorite food to eat during tournaments, during the long days of tournaments
Mm, okay, my favorite food.
or snack?
Okay, I dislike everything because I treat it like part of my job as an obligation to keep my body optimized. So I'm like, bar, banana, applesauce, energy chew, and then it's like repeat and oh, I don't know. It doesn't
It's just a
feel
job, and you have to
it's
do
a
it not
job.
because you're hungry.
Yeah, but I think that would be my biggest advice for any fencer is that having enough fuel is probably the only thing you can control on competition day. So making sure you don't get tired from lack of nutrition is simple yet painful.
Absolutely, because you can train as much as you want to train, but nutrition is so important as an athlete. I want to ask you about your coach in your club that you started with him, Amgad. How has he shaped your life, you as a person, not only as a fencer, but as a human?
Mm. Okay, so I started fencing at 7. And for the first 4 years, my parents would drive us 1 to 2 days a week to a club, an hour and a half away, to get lessons. And then sometimes too, so my dad fence in college, he would make us do footwork in the dining room and get on us for not bending our knees. And so I would say that was the first 4 years of my career, and then Amgad came, moved to Lexington, started Bluegrass Fencers Club, and the beginning was really tough because we were serious, but we weren't serious to make, like, national and Olympic team serious at that age. And when he came, he was like, "You will practice more, you will work hard during practice, you're gonna take physically demanding lessons." And we're like, "What? We didn't have to do this before. What is this?" And so there's a little resistance to a change in
Yeah,
culture. And we all worked from the bottom. I would say he his style of fencing and his philosophy was very compatible with my personality, my creativity. So he gave me a lot of skills and ideas, but then he would basically let me explore how to combine them, how I wanted to enact them in competition. So I had a combination of a lot of structure and a lot of freedom at the same time.
that's the perfect scenario for you, right? No, because you're a very strong personality, and that's not bad, but there has to be somebody who can kind of manage you, can handle you, like the same way, like even with your husband and my husband, like we're a little cray cray. I always say, not in a bad way. And I'm like, we need somebody to kind of put those, she's like, okay, you need to kind of, calm down. So I honestly, I've always admired him. He's always so quiet. And I was like, sometimes I want to go to him and say, congratulations, but I don't know how he's going to take it because he's an incredible like energy around. It just I feel like yeah, that's why I wanted to ask you because I know he. I mean, every coach that is behind those big athletes, they do pretty much. They're raising you pretty much because you spend more time probably with him than with your own family because the amount of time you travel and train. Um, so you guys with Gerek started the KM fencing. which you guys are doing speaking events, clinics, and all those things. I think you're the first one in the fencing community that have ever started this. Nobody has ever done this. And I think this is a huge deal because you inspire the other athletes, whether they're fencers or not, that you can make some income off of the results, off of the experience, off of the knowledge. Tell us more about that program that you guys created.
Mm. And so, as you mentioned before, we flipped our lives upside down. We decided not to go back to medical school. We decided to keep fencing. And those were the two things we knew, which still leaves a lot of the world and life to be explored. We feel like where we are in our careers, we are 31 and 35, that we need to learn more about ourselves. We need to learn what our interests are post fencing, what we enjoy. And because we knew we wanted to keep fencing, we were like, okay, the most logical thing is for us to use our experiences and practice being teachers and share all of the important things as you are sharing mental health, high performance. This isn't something everyone has. We have it because of a lifetime of effort and passion. And so we started KM fencing, and yes, there's a few different branches of it. So the first one is we run clinics, and we have done them throughout the US, through around the world, and we try to sneak them in around our own competitions. Another branch is virtual mentoring. So we will do consultations, watch fencers' videos with them, do question and answer. And it's really fun because we meet people where we're at. So maybe we'll have a young fencer, maybe we'll have someone who's, trying to go to college, someone who wants to make the Olympic team one day. So it's really cool to hear their goals and their dreams and try to help give them ideas of how to get a little closer. And then we also will do speaking sometimes. So this is our cute little logo. It's a
It's
little
really cute, actually.
mask.
Yeah.
And yes,
This is a huge
it's
deal.
been a
I mean,
journey.
congratulations. And I love that you guys are paving the way and showing others that it's possible to do a lot of things that other people didn't do because they were afraid of maybe not working, not doing, I mean, failing or stuff like that. Do you feel once you guys are done with your competitive career, I mean, I have a feeling that you want to stay in the sport because you're playing such a big role in the fencing, in the foil and the fencing overall, and also not only like in the fencing, in the sports in general. You've been to those incredible events. I was looking at your videos with the award ceremonies and stuff like that. So, do you guys feel like you want to stay in the fencing community once you're done like competing?
We will always want to be involved in fencing in some capacity, but what that specifically looks like 5 years from now, we're not sure, but you will always see us loving fencing.
Well, that's good. Yeah, because I think we need more people like you guys to move the needle for the fencing because I feel fencing can get bigger and better in any shape or form. Why not on TV? Why not on Netflix? Why not on, I mean, we know that it's going to come something to TV. It's coming, which is great. But also there are more things to be done because the community is growing and we got to regroup and how we make it healthy. And the bottom line is it's good for the kids to do sports, whether they want to compete in national level, regional level, just for fun in the club. It's about the sport that we love, and not everybody's going to be like you and Gerek. And I had this conversation with the kids in the club, and I created a video about it. Only 1% is reaching the level you and Gerek has reached. And we got to take care of the 99. I was part of the 99%.
No,
And I'm like, we're not, I mean, we still can make a difference in the world. And that's why I was like, everybody is an important person in that community, whether you're Olympian, Olympic medalist, whether you're regional kid, because you will inspire somebody that needs that push. Like, you got this. It doesn't matter whether you won the medal or not. Um, how do you feel you being such a big role model for women, for kids, for athletes overall? How you're mentally strong, how you're speaking what you believe in. How does it feel, that pressure?
Yes. Um, the real answer, it's uncomfortable. Being out in front of people and being having that spotlight is uncomfortable, but it's important. And if you have a platform, you need to use it to voice what you think is right. And I think even if you don't have a platform, using your voice is always an important thing.
Yeah, share what you believe in. What kind of legacy you want to leave behind? What do you want to be known for?
Hmm. I want to be known as a fighter, and I also want to be known as someone who is kind and respects everyone. As you said, we're all at different places in our journey. We all have different goals, and I want people to know that I think that's beautiful.
And how do you stay so humble? How do you guys, I mean, you and Gerek, I'm going to have interview with him, but like, how do you stay so humble with all the success you have?
Mm.
Who keeps you grounded, or what keeps you grounded? Like, okay, I mean, I think unintentionally sometimes people can get ahead of themselves in a way. I don't know. I haven't been in your position, but you are humble. You're super like a nice person. I've always met people who met you that said, "Oh my God, Gary Kinley are so sweet." Same thing with Alex Macialas. How do you do that?
Mm. We have the mentality that we can always be better. So this is on the fencing strip. This is how we teach people, like, in every aspect of our life. We're like, "Okay, like, how can we, like, do better?" And at the same time, sometimes I struggle with the word humble because I also wanna have confidence. Like, I wanna show people, like, I'm a badass and I own that. So, navigating these is tricky, but definitely approaching everyone with kindness and respect at all times.
Absolutely, because it's so important. Like even when somebody shares something on social media, when you have that platform, when they know who you are, it's very like tricky. Should I share this? Should I not share it? And sometimes you get to lose your voice because of how the society will perceive that, and that's the very difficult situation. One last question, because I know you're in crunch time. What is something people don't know about Lee? Let's say outside of the strip, whether it's a hobby or something. Is there something people don't know about you?
Mm. What? Mm. I mean, this isn't exactly a hobby, but I'm a pretty shy person, and being on social media is really hard for me. But
Really?
yes, it's really hard, and I'm second thinking it, and I'm like, "Ah, I look silly sometimes."
It does not
Um,
look like it. It looks like
thanks.
you're feeling so comfortable.
Thanks. It takes practice, like
It
everything
does.
in
It does.
life, but that's really hard for me, but yes, pushing out of that comfort zone. A more fun fact than that is Garrick and I have a pet tarantula named Caetano,
You're not
and
afraid of it?
she's creepy and angsty, but it
Oh my god.
matches my personality, and she's the best pet to have when you're traveling for competitions because she eats every 2 weeks, and you just need to make sure she has water.
Oh my
Recommend
god.
tarantula, 10 out of
Oh
10.
my gosh. I'll be so afraid, I swear to God. I'll be like, uh-uh. Yeah. But I used to have lizards when I was younger. We were catching them
Oh,
outside and oh my gosh. And we were putting them in a jar with holes. It's yeah. I was telling my kids,
so
no, I'm not
fun.
afraid of lizards, stuff. But like the tarantula, we're pushing it a little bit.
Ah!
I'll be like,
Okay, you need to return something about you that people don't know.
um, oh my gosh, there's so many things. Like I think one day I'm gonna speak a lot about a lot of mental and physical abuse we've faced when we were younger in my country. But also like Let me think what they don't know. Because I speak now a lot on the social media. I used to be shy. I used to be actually very shy as a young kid. I was crying a lot about the little things. I'm a people pleaser, which I don't want to be anymore. Um, and I feel like I'm finding my voice, even though I'm 42 right now, and I'm finally finding my voice and saying what I believe in. And I don't want to, because I want to inspire my kids not to be quiet when things are not right, not to be quiet because my friend group is not gonna like me, and stuff like that. So that's pretty much what. Yeah, but there's a lot more we can dig in. Like we're
Yeah.
gonna open the can of worms.
So
But thank you
cool.
so much for asking me that.
No,
That was so
that's
sweet.
really cool. Yeah, I
Um,
really admire you
oh, thank
for
you.
speaking out
Thank
and
you.
bringing, I don't know, beautiful energy surrounding really important topics. So,
Oh, thank
thank you.
you. I mean, I get inspired so much by you guys and everybody who is successful in a sense of like not a jealousy, like inspiration. And I do remember when you started this with Gerek with the KM fencing, and I was like, this is an incredible thing, and I'm so proud of them that they're like doing something out of the comfort zone because nobody has done it. And you're thinking, yeah, it may sink, it might fail, but what if
Yeah.
it succeeds? And that's always that's how you gotta do it. And I really appreciate you so much for taking your busy schedule to be on the podcast, The Joys of the Journey. And I know we're going to meet again.
Yes.
And I wish you nothing but the best, Lee. Keep inspiring us. Always have a healthy relationship with the sport and competing because we want to see you for the long time out there. And whatever you choose to decide, we'll always support you.
Thank you.
And yeah, we love you. And thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and maybe see you at October Neck.
Absolutely. I'll see you there. Bye.